So I made a video about this, but I thought it kind of sucked. I was in the middle of editing it, and the audio was kind of bad, and it just wasn't good. It was too long. So now, let me turn my ID noise down there. So now I'm going to do a short, quick, straight to the cut point version of this. This is some major things I think need to happen to flipaclip. Now, I love flipaclip. I've been using the app for years since it's... Oh, boy. Oh, goddamn. Time, yeah. I've been using it since its early days when I had the old-fashioned brown wood looking theme. And I've tried using Adobe Animate CC as well, multiple times. And I have that. I use Premiere Pro and After Effects. I have a Creative Cloud subscription because I love using that stuff. But I don't use Adobe. You want to know why? They overcomplicate it. They make it crazy. It's not fun. They make some stuff take 8 steps that flipaclip can do in 1 or 2. I like flipaclip better. It's easy, it's fun, easy to do. You can do it on the go. Just pull out your tablet and go. It's easy. I love flipaclip. However, as I get more and more advanced, along with many other animators I've seen leave the flipaclip community for Flash, because of some features it lacks, and today I'm going to talk about those. Again, don't get me wrong, I love flipaclip so much. Shout out to the flipaclip developers. You guys, your apps got me started in animation. I've been loving it. So as an animator, a long-time flipaclip animator, and I'd say on a scale of like 1 to 10, I'm like a solid 7 or 8. You know, I'm not like a god at it, but I'd say I'm pretty decent at it, and I've been using it for a while, so many years. So I know my way around the program completely. Every feature it has, I know all about it. I know all the and as well as the mistakes and issues it has. Now, I'm not going to be talking about errors and bugs because those get reported and fixed. I'm talking about things that like features that need to be added. And if you guys really like these ideas, I've talked a few months ago, I talked with a lot of people on I'm in a bunch of flipaclip chat groups on Instagram, and I'm in the flipaclip Discord server in the description below. I don't believe it's hosted by the actual developers though, it's a fan server. I've talked to a lot of people about these ideas though, and it's roaring applause and support for them. So I'm going to go ahead and shut up and get to talking about them. So for the first thing, we'll start it off light. I certainly think flipaclip needs to add some more brushes. Currently, it has 4. The pen tool, the brush tool, the highlighter tool, and the pencil tool. I think it needs to add... and now, there are, like, IBI's paint, you know, they have gazillions of brushes that no one ever uses. I'm only talking about serious ones that people would use a lot, which I think would be an airbrush. They definitely need an airbrush. Maybe an ink brush, like a calligraphy pen brush. And perhaps maybe a glow brush. I'd like to have one of those on Instagram, so like you do red and you draw a red line and it looks like kind of a lightsaber, so that would help for like lasers, explosions, things like that, and the airbrush would help a lot too. Specifically the airbrush, because when us flipaclip animators, we want to make something glow, right? Say we have a ball, we want to make that ball glow, or we want to glow behind our explosion. Normally you just get airbrush and just put some yellow or something everywhere and make it all glowy. We don't have that. The pencil tool can work for it in some situations, but it's rough. It's a little pixely. So if you want a really good glow, what we have to do, we have to get the paintbrush tool, and we get the eraser, we turn the feather up, we turn the opacity down a little bit, we feather around the edges, we shrink it and expand it a whole bunch in order to blur it out. We feather it around and erase the edges a little bit to make it all soft and smooth and make it a little transparent, and then we stretch it across. With the airbrush, that whole process can take a few minutes, but with the airbrushes, just like that, you just blot some on there and you're done. So definitely add an airbrush. I love that for developers. Thank you. Now, here's another little feature. It is a bit crazy, and it's not necessarily essential because most people don't need it, but it is a useful feature I noticed in IBIS Paint X mobile, which I used to draw, but I've been using flipaclip to draw more and more because I animate in there, so I might as well get better at drawing in it. That would be it. Man, I forget. It's kind of like I'm just going to call it an alpha matte, even though it's probably not the actual definition. But basically, you have layer 1, right? With a drawing on it. And then, no, you have layer 1 with your background. You have layer 2 with your drawing of a person. And then you have an empty layer 3. If you go to empty layer 3, and you we could add a little switch or something, and you click that switch, and it turns it into alpha matte mode. Anything you draw, it basically creates a matte on top of layer 2, which is where a person is, and you could draw, but the ink would only show up on things that are in the layer below it. So if there's just a person and you try to draw outside of that person on layer 3, it won't show up. So that way you would be able to shade your your characters and stuff a lot easier. And if you shade and you accidentally put stroked off of the character, it wouldn't matter, it would just cut it off. But again, that's a very little feature, that's nothing major. Most people don't really have a major need for it. It's just something I think that would be cool. Now, number 3, this is the big boy. This is what the video is all about and what I've gotten roaring support for, and that would be this. The flipaclip developers probably already know what I'm gonna say. Just hear me out a minute. Keyframes. Now, no, before you tell me, CravCave, it is not possible to do keyframes on mobile animation, all you people in the comments, false. Draw Cartoons has done it, and in my opinion, that's not nearly as good as flipaclip. It's kind of an entirely tween stick figure based thing. It's not good for artists who like to actually draw their animation. It's Draw Cartoons, and you can barely draw on it, so yeah, no, don't bother. But yes, they do tweens. KindMaster has done it, which is a mobile editing software I used to use in my very first YouTube channels. You could get images and videos and keyframe them across the screen any way you want, same with text, etc. Now, hear me out a minute. Flipaclip works like a flip book, right? You know, just 1 frame, 2 frame, 3, and it goes on. Which is why having keyframing an image and being able to edit it afterwards, so like you move keyframe from this point to this point, and you're like, you know what, I actually want to change that a bit. You wouldn't be able to do that most likely. However, what I'm shooting for, what I would love to see happen, that would keep me around, and I would never go to Flash if this was added, and this would bring a lot of people who hate the complexity of Flash back. This would keep bring in a lot of new people who want to animate. This would keep a lot of people around longer or forever, and that would be a keyframe feature. So imagine this, right? You have drawn a walk cycle, okay, and it's just some person walking in place, and you loop it, right? Nice. But for what we would normally have to do, if we want a moving background, right, we would have to draw the background very small, and then we would have to scale it up, copy it in an empty frame so that we could go back and grab the background again. And then for each frame, we'd have to paste the background along. So while your person here is still walking like this, and you want your background to move, you have to just paste it every frame and move it a little bit. And if you just, say you accidentally paste it a little bit too far up or too far down, then, you know, the background looks jagged and stuff when it moves across the screen. Yeah, that kind of sucks, right? Well, if we had the ability to keyframe images, we'd be able to draw our background images in flipaclip or in IS Paint or whatever we want to use. We just point A, point B, boom, moving background, just like that. A process that we'd have to copy and paste it for hundreds of frames. Done, just like that, easy as cake. But do you want to see something cooler? When we have to do a walk cycle and we want that person to run across the screen, we have to animate every single frame, draw, and if we want to reuse those poses we've drawn, we have to copy and paste for every single position. But if you just did the run or walk cycle once, and then you keyframe it across the screen once, done, easy. That saved tons of time. And you'd be able to reuse that same run cycle, that GIF, over and over without having to go back and copy and paste every single pose and move it around. You want, let's say somebody shoots a laser and they want the laser to fly. Instead of drawing the laser for each one, you could just keyframe it and it flies. Nothing overcomplicated that Flash does, like where you morph tweens, where like, oh, you draw a circle and then you turn it into a square and it'll morph. Nothing crazy like that, but just simple stuff. So like the ability to keyframe a image or a GIF, that would be incredible, to where you could just go point A, point B. Here you could do so many cool things. You can have, okay, we're gonna have some camera motion, so we have our two characters here, and we want them to move a little bit like this. So you scale one down, you move them here, you scale one up, move them a bit here, and then we want our foreground with like a few trees to kind of slide across here, and we want our background with mountains to slide here. You could just keyframe instead of having to have extra blank frames with all these assets and copy and paste them down to the pixel without them looking crooked on all those things. That would, holy cow, that would be incredible. Now, I'm not saying keyframe it to the point where the entire animation is keyframe, so like even the person's limbs moving is keyframe. No, that's ridiculous. But to just be able to say for free users, maybe the ability to do 3 little, we could call them keyframe or GIF keyframes, or maybe 2, where they could put up to 2 layers of like GIFs and images that can keyframe, and for pro users, like 6 or unlimited, whatever. I personally am a pro user, so I would love that, but seeing something like that in flipaclip would be incredible. Developers, if you guys think this is possible, and even if it takes you a year to get done, I don't care. I just think, and I think me and along with everyone else in the flipaclip community would be absolutely incredible. If you can't do it, that's okay. We still love you. I still love using flipaclip. But I think with time, keyframes are so important. It's so important, and it saves so much time. So I think if that happened, flipaclip would... The only thing Flash has that I want that flipaclip doesn't is keyframes. And if flipaclip has that, then Adobe would be nothing compared to flipaclip, if you want my honest opinion on that. Not dissing Adobe. Adobe's great. I use Premiere Pro and After Effects. They do good stuff. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. But first, I'm doing a quick promotion of my Undertale animation series I made with flipaclip, by the way, called Undertale Fall of Evil. At the time of this recording, I've done 2 episodes of it, and it's kind of sad it hasn't, it's like I spend months on this animation, and they get like 120 views. Then when I make a 99T video, or a video making fun of the coronavirus, it gets like 200 to 500 views. I don't know, it's weird. So that'd be cool if you guys would check that out, share it, because holy cow, it's weird. These animations take me forever, but every time I make one, it's like it doubles in like quality and smoothness and how good it looks. It's just the feedback I get. I put all that in here and then I apply it, so it turns out great. I love animating with flipaclip. So again, thank you guys for watching. You guys stay safe out there with the thing. I can't name it, or this video is gonna get in trouble. But the thing that's going on right now. Stay safe. You guys are great. Keep watching videos and my videos. You guys have a great day. Bye bye.